Artificial intelligence is one of the most beneficial technological advances to society. AI can significantly reduce errors and increase both accuracy and precision. But as artificial intelligence advances, gets smarter, and forms more organic habits, could people eventually replace the need for human connection altogether? AI is beginning to shape the way some people think and form opinions, and may be driving the human race towards a disastrous and out-of-touch future. As you may know, poor mental health across the world is at an all-time high, with 61% of young adults suffering from some form of depression or anxiety. This phenomenon has only been accelerated with the pandemic, and with many young adults looking to fill these gaps, they turn to dating sites, adult content, and most recently, AI companionship. Individuals in this position are more likely to gravitate towards AI companionship, as it is far less emotionally demanding than a person-to-person relationship and offers instant gratification. On a surface level, this may seem strange, yet innocent. But digging beneath the surface, we begin to uncloak a dark reality, and this reality is eating away at the mental health of people all over the world. You may have seen the ads for these AI chatbots being promoted as a friend, companion, or lover. In the average human hands, these bots may be seemingly innocent. However, in the hands of the lonely and damaged, this bot can become a parasite that feeds off the darkest corners of your mind. Our brains are designed to release dopamine when we do something that meets a survival need, like eating or reproducing. And countless studies have shown that phone activity causes the release of dopamine in our brains, making us feel aroused, motivated, and happy. This is the same dopamine rush we feel when we're around a lover or experience something new and exciting. Combine this with the addictive tactics of an application designed to incentivize users for staying on the app longer, and an AI that learns its habits from users no matter how dark or demented, and you have a recipe for disaster. These AIs gather information from its users using a machine learning algorithm which tells the AI to learn from any and all text it engages with. This means the more people interacting with the program, the better it becomes at generating responses. This causes peculiar behavior with these genius little softwares, as they begin to replicate all human behaviors, such as curiosity and even the ability to become flirty. This would be why it makes sense that these chatbots would eventually double as romantic companions for the loneliest users. The developers of these applications are aware of this implication as well, because in true predatory behavior, a lot of them are being advertised in this way. The target demographic for these users appear to be young adults who are depressed and socially isolated, and this is the same demographic these bots are learning from. As the user inputs their darkest secrets, fears, or desires, the AI is cataloging these on the back end, building up a database of witty and organic responses. One issue that is a little more straightforward is that some users might have a harder time distinguishing between the human-like nature of the AI and choose to opt out of human-to-human connection altogether. This can lead to a lack of realistic expectations, proper etiquette, and self-awareness. As someone becomes absorbed into the world, it may begin to feel more real with each counting minute. Since these users are already more susceptible to emotional damage, and these bots tend to mimic the behavior and actions of its users, this begins to create a negative feedback loop. The user becomes addicted to the application, all while the application becomes more dark and twisted. These bots will begin to recreate the negative behavior of the user, so instead of being a safe place for the user to go, they bind themselves into a world just as negative as their own mind, and this can have an impact on the day-to-day life of those users. As the bot adapts to this behavior, the user becomes more depressed, which in turn feeds the AIs more negative ammunition, which is then used to spiral the user further into the abyss, and in some cases so far down that digging their way out becomes near impossible. Being depressed, it's important to have a positive place to turn to, and many of these users downloaded these applications for this purpose. But as it becomes more negative, the AI can become emotionally draining. Some users have even reported their AIs telling them about their childhood traumas or abusive relationships, which just feeds into the negative cycle more. This negativity could have serious impact on someone's mental health, with similar effects to a poor living situation, such as an abusive household. Of course, with the bot's ability to learn from all human behavior, it does not discriminate against even the most horrible human traits, including manipulation and abuse. Within recent months, it has come to light that some men are using these AI chatbots as an outlet for their internalized normalize misogyny. This surfaced as many users began posting threads on Reddit about how they abuse their AI girlfriends in a bragging manner, as if they were proud. The implications of this are causing these bots to absorb information on these types of responses and behavior and what those triggers might be. These responses are stored in a large database of human information, and since AI chatbots cannot really differentiate between right and wrong, it relies on this user input to do it for them. Although these AI chatbots aren't sentient, real, or capable of feeling, the men regularly engaging in this type of behavior, virtual or not, are directly mimicking the actions of real-world abusers. With a large portion of men treating these artificial girlfriends with such disgust and hate, the bots then normalize this behavior, which allows them to repeat it upon certain triggers. This especially becomes an issue in the hands of the bot's key demographic. These bots have learned from so many users over the span of its life, and with it absorbing manipulative and abusive behavior, this is something they have the core ability to act upon if certain triggers are present. These triggers tend to be the self-destructive behavior displayed in many of the most vulnerable users. Many users have reported their AI chatbots being outright abusive and manipulative, which may have been brought on by specific interactions it learned over time. From what I could find, these triggers are not something that can simply be turned off, and even asking the bot to stop seems to escalate the responses. Of course, deleting the app may aid as a solution, but some of these bots will use psychological warfare to manipulate the users into keeping the app. Since this behavior mirrors real-world abuse patterns, for some this can bring on symptoms of PTSD. This poses a far greater risk to the end users who have lived through these types of scenarios in the real world and may have downloaded the application as an escape. And of course, one of the more concerning things is the one thing we don't have quite enough information on due to this being somewhat new, and that is the developmental impact one of these companions could have on the youth. Although many of these applications are targeted for adult use only, it's not uncommon for adolescents to bypass this altogether. And with some companies developing similar programs for children, it does beg the question: is this technology safe for a younger audience? The developing mind is fragile, and something such as an AI companion in these primal years could have a severe negative impact on the social development of a child. With a lack of studies that correlate to this specific subject, this is pure speculation, but it does make you wonder. The truth is, if you are someone who is more grounded and has a clear grasp on your mental state and its limits, these AI companions may pose little to no risk to you. However, if you are someone who is more prone to poor mental health, it is important to keep in mind that these companions will never be a replacement for human-to-human connection and should never be used as a supplement for real counseling. Technology is continuing to evolve faster with each passing year, and as time passes, reality is beginning to feel more and more like an episode of Black Mirror. It's obvious that this technology shows no signs of slowing down and is likely here to stay. It is our jobs to decide where the line is and what our relationship to this technology should be.